Hello, welcome back to an all-new season of Tale of Four Gamers. Yes, it's our semi-regular monthly update show where we all build armies and learn how to play games, the Four Gamers do. We have renamed it this time, Tale of Four Hobbits, because this time we are going to learn how to play all the variations of the Middle-earth strategy battle game from Games Workshop, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, the Rohirrim thing that's out now, all of them are getting covered in this series, which starts now. This is the first episode. We'll go into how this all works, news, and introduce the gamers, because I think there's probably some new people, after this. Hello, welcome. Welcome back to Tale of Four Hobbits. So what exactly is this that we're doing? This is, we've done a few of these now. We've done a few Tale of Four Gamers episodes. It's based on the series that you often see in White Dwarf, where four of us will build an army, paint an army, and then attempt to play some games with the army. Usually the way we do it has been that we use this as an excuse, not only to actually keep some hobby progress going, but also to learn a new game and get some events in. And also, one of the other ways we run this is that we allow everyone else to get involved too. So usually in these Tale of Four Gamers things, we have a section at the end where we'll do a community update every month. That means that if you're a member of the Discord, which you can get onto by joining certain levels of Patreon or YouTube memberships, then you can post in the channels every month, submit your updates, give us a little update. We'll have a look at them on the channel. And usually we just tell everyone their stuff's brilliant, because it always is. It's a brilliant little Discord community, to be honest. Everyone's really nice.
Very good.
And they do some incredible conversions and things like that. So that's how this works. This one, Tale of Four Hobbits, as I said in the intro, we're going to be playing for the next, I would guess, 3 or 4 months, the Middle-earth strategy battle game, which has been released under a number of different names in the past, but they're all the same battle system now. So we're going to be playing not just Hobbit armies, but also Lord of the Rings armies. None of us have really ever played this a lot. We'll get into our experience in the game in a second. But the intention here is to build up. I think we're going to try and build up to like about 500 points, so quite a small army, but enough to play a normal sized game, with the intention of probably running an event early spring, late like February, Marchish next year. We'll follow our progress as we go. So I think we're gonna say what we're gonna collect this time, give you our plans, and then I imagine next time we come back, we'll have built something, then we might have painted something, and give us 3 months, we might even be playing some games. So if you would like to join in on that, all the links are in the thing below. But without further ado, the next thing I should do, because I imagine there's some new people here, is introduce the other 3 of the 4 gamers, which we always forget to do. But yeah, let's do that. So to my this side, I got it right, is Russ the Hobbit. Hi, Russ. Tell us about yourself.
I was born at an early age in my hometown. Jumping ahead slightly, started in the late 80s with Astro Granite Blood Bowl, did all the usual stuff through the 90s, got back into all of this in the mid-2000s. Played 40k for a long time, but don't like it anymore. Now I mainly play 5th edition fantasy, Horus Heresy, and want to find more time to play other little games as well, but never seem to actually find the time to play them because of life and being a teacher and having a brand new house. As regular viewers might be able to tell from looking behind me, I'm no longer in the room I used to be.
Bigger hobby project to deal with. Very good, very good. Gary is I'm going to get this right, is down here. Gary, how are you? Introduce yourself.
I'm Gary. I'm a railway engineer. I've got a 7-year-old kid. I've got a couple of dogs. Tabletop games is my main hobby. And basically, I don't get to play it as much as I used to through this channel and other stuff. You know, we try and arrange events and go and sort out day trips to Nottingham and stuff. I've been in and out of the hobby since I was 14. I started off hero questing, and 40k was my main game for a long while. I was thinking Blood Bowl's my favorite game that Games Workshop's done. I just get the most out of it league-wise, and one-day tournaments and stuff. It's just the best rule set they've got. Most of my hobby sharing is done on Instagram, Forgotten by the Gods. I lurk around on Reddit and Facebook forums. That's it.
Brilliant. Thank you. And finally, directly below me on the little quad screen here, Bobbie. Bobbie, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Some people might already know me on the internet as Violet Sun, Blue Sky, and Instagram, and a few other different places. I've been playing war games since the 90s. I actually started with historical stuff because my dad still had a bunch of war games books from when he was a little one, and a box full of like airfix tanks and Napoleonic soldiers and stuff. So that was where I started. Very quickly ended up playing second edition 40k, which I still think is one of the most fun editions of 40k. I don't think it's necessarily a balanced edition, but these days I like a lot of different games. I've been doing a lot of Horus Heresy again since the new editions came out. I've started a new army. I like a lot of the weird games, like I like Legions Imperialis. I used to like Battlefleet Gothic when that was a thing, more time. So I think Lord of the Rings is going to be a good fit for me. I did actually play it a little bit back in like the first and second editions of it, although it has changed a lot since then from what I can tell. Yeah, it's a mixed bag, my gaming. I'm always working on something new. I think that's the other thing. Start a lot of projects, don't finish a lot of projects.
Well, that's one of the purposes of doing this. And yeah, I should probably do the same thing. Hi, I am Ian. I guess, like a professional internet human now. I do have a real job where I design live events for a living, which is just a bigger version of this, really. And yeah, what's my gaming been for the last few years? My gaming for the last few years has probably mostly been Horus Heresy as well, and Underworlds. I also started with 40k back in the 90s, took it up again in the 2000s. And through that point, probably played most Games Workshop games, but I've never taken up this one. So this is going to be an interesting first go for me. So before we dive into things, we have some messages to do, some news. So I'll just launch into that now. Just in case you didn't know, we have reopened our event space for another 3 months. The Promethean Tank is open for business, and our first event is pretty soon after this goes out. We're going to do a 3,000 point narrative Horus Heresy event. This is down in South London. If you're around on the 29th and 30th of November, we have some spaces free. Links will be in the thing below. Come down. It's probably going to be about a week after this episode goes live. And then we're planning to do, there's a second edition event we're going to do later on, probably January. And then we'll, of course, be doing some Lord of the Rings events after that. So the second thing to say is, of course, there's a merch store. It's Christmas. You should buy some merch. Russ has just moved house. I'm about to move house. Please buy some T-shirts. We're going to have some more stuff going up just before Christmas. So if you would like some stupid T-shirts with Magic Space Frogs or Bad Ab War themes on them, then take a look at the merch store, get some T-shirts and some hats. There'll be some more designs popping up over the next few weeks. And then the third of our messages is, of course, the giveaway. Now we're doing Tale of Four Gamers again. It's time for giveaways. I don't have any Lord of the Rings models but yet, but that's very much the point of this. So instead, this month's giveaway is going to be the Red Gobbo from last year. That's the Red Gobbo's Abominable Snowman little diorama thing. This is the commemorative series model. If you would like to win this, there'll be a link below here. You can go to the Patreon, or if you're a YouTube membership, there'll be a link to the Patreon. It's free to enter. You don't need to be a paying member or anything like that. And we'll give you a little task. So you complete the task, and then when we're back in a month's time for our next update, we will judge our favorite 4 responses. And the winner will have this shipped directly out to them. And you could be with getting a Gobbo probably around Christmas time. That's our messages for the day. So, Middle-earth strategy battle game, a game that some of us have had some experience with. I feel like it's a nice one to do right now. We were tossing up this or Blood Bowl. Middle-earth, I always think Lord of the Rings feels very Christmassy now, right? The films have got that status of being like a thing you watch at Christmas. So the idea of doing Lord of the Rings or Hobbit or whatever right now is feels appropriate. It's also like maybe manageable over a Christmas break. What do people think? Like as far as I'm aware, it's like widely regarded as a pretty good game and relatively up to date at the moment.
Yeah, so I from what I've been reading, a lot of people do think it's like on par with Blood Bowl as being one of the tightest rule sets. Like there's very little ambiguity in rules, so it's really well written, you know.
Yeah.
Me and Nathan and yourself were playing, I think it was Horus Heresy or something at Bad Moon Cafe, and on the next table there was people playing Lord of the Rings, and we chatted with them. And they said that, yeah, the rules are so good, like when it comes to terrain, it's either in the way or it's not. And it's very clear. It doesn't matter if it's a tree or a piece of wall or a fence or a building. If it's in the way, you get a 4+ save. And if you roll higher than that, the shot goes past, and that's good.
Yeah, so it's quite a simplified. And this is the thing, because I haven't checked the rules yet. I'm very much building blind, but yeah, it's quite a simplified rule set. It's new as well, right? It's like 2024 is the most recent release.
Yeah, the most recent rules released. I think from what I can gather, because I've never played the previous editions, so I'm just going by what I've read. Basically, that they reduced a lot of the spurious options you have to like the amount of equipment that people have access to have been massively reduced, and then also the number of allies are gone. There's no ally matrix, so you can't just go, I want Gandalf to run around with these dwarves. If it's not in that list, Gandalf can't join it.
Yeah, and from what we've been looking at, like the lists themselves there's basically lots and lots of lists, all of which are pretty restrictive, right? So you can play this version of Rohan and it's led by that guy and it has these like 10 different troop types. Or you can play that version of Rohan that's led by a different guy and has 10 different sorts of troop types. Yeah. And that's kind of how the games work. So you're playing quite a concentrated little, it's almost like you're playing a scene from the movie, right?
It is, yeah. And the restrictions go further, and if that guy's allowed or not, it even alters the equipment. While we were looking through the lists, you were talking about Radagast.
Yeah.
And we noticed that in certain lists, Radagast had access to an eagle as a mount, but in other lists, he had access to the sleigh, like the rabbit sleigh.
Yeah.
But you couldn't choose. Like you purchase Radagast, and then the list tells you what stuff he's got access to. I think
that's right. Yeah,
it's very, very difficult to get my head around how restrictive that is. You know,
that's actually quite interesting. I don't know if any of the rest of you looked at any of the army lists yet, but like it was quite interesting trying to figure out, especially when you're sort of coming into it thinking, I would like to play these models. Then trying to go on, we actually were using the online list builder, the independent one, because you can search a model and it will tell you what armies it's playable in, which is kind of handy. So you can start off by going, right, I really want to play bunny chariots. What can I do? A few initial ideas for armies that I was going to do have gone out the window because of that, because I couldn't quite play the full combination of things that I wanted, but I have at least settled on something now that is at least vaguely stupid. So I'm quite happy about that. Yeah. Have you had any experience with this, Bobbie? You've done a little bit, haven't you?
So yeah, I say I've played. I think it was the first and the second edition. It was my younger brother was kind of more the fan of Lord of the Rings games, so he was the one who kind of collected it. But I got to play a little bit using his armies and such like. But it's kind of changed a lot. There was like a mass battle version of the game, and it seems to have gone back down to more of a skirmish game, which I quite like. I like a skirmish game, so I'm happy.
I think it makes it good for this, for like learning that you're not. I remember as well that there was definitely a point of the game where it got really big, right? And this is just observing from the outside. Weirdly, it's sort of a similar thing to what happened to Warhammer Fantasy and Age of Sigmar, isn't it? That Sigmar, when it was released, was very much like, we're dividing up all the units into individual armies, so you pick one of these many, many, many armies, and you can have a full army relatively easily, rather than there's 10 armies and then you need to buy a bazillion models to play a game.
I think you're right. I think that there's so many lists now that you think, oh, it's very restrictive. But what my positive takeaway from it is once you've painted up a bunch of orcs and a bunch of wargs and stuff like that, you can then very quickly look at what else do I need to add, and I've got a list. So by buying two different characters, you've now got Azog's list, and by buying two different characters, you've got the Rise of the Necromancer list, which is, a bunch of Ringwraiths and Sauron.
Yeah.
The other thing, I think that from what I gather from it, they're going to try and recreate, like you said, movie sort of interactions, and I think they've downgraded the magic, because when I was going in the forums, they were saying, oh, this stuff is really powerful, this stuff is really powerful. And since then, people have been saying magic is not as important anymore, which feels a little bit Lord of the Rings and Tolkien. Like it always has influence, but it's not world-ending spells in magic.
You don't have like people casting fireball everywhere. It's not Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, like Gandalf doesn't turn up at the top of the hill waving his wand and then like 1,000 orcs die.
Yeah.
he turns up and provides courage and resolve.
Yeah.
It does seem to be more that they're trying to recreate battles from the movie or like the movie.
Yeah, I think this looks really good. You're the only person of the four of us currently who has actually tried to play this recently. Okay, so you're the only person who's actually played the modern game, right? The 2024 edition. Partly because you and Nathan, regular collaborator Nathan, I'm sure will pop up at some point on this, have actually started about a month earlier than the rest of us, built an army and test played a game, right?
So we had a bit of a false start because in our private sort of chats when we were deciding what the next game would be, we were very much going along with Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
And we were all sort of talking about teams. And then me and Nathan were going, well, if we're not doing Lord of the Rings on the channel, then we'll do it ourselves. So me and Nathan went off and started painting up. So I started painting a warg army.
Yeah.
And Nathan betrayed me and switched from... He was going to do dwarves, and then he cheated by bringing the ghost army, which is very quick to paint.
Yeah.
We agreed a date that we were going to play our first game, and when I turned up, I told him that I'd made a new army in secret. And,
a fourth army was forged in secret. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was like expecting to fight my wargs, and he got to fight spiders instead. So this is the only game I've played so far, and it's there is a lot I learned in it, that you do need a lot of bodies in this game, like heroes have got their importance, but you need to have a number that's not going to break so easily, because once you reach a breaking point, you're literally just rolling dice to see if your guys leave the game.
Right. Like so bottling out in Necromunda.
It is, yeah. So there's a bottling out point, which is if you're broken or not. And once you're broken, you take courage tests to stay.
Right.
So once you break someone, their army can very quickly run away. So the other things what we were finding is the combat. The system is you both roll dice for the number of attacks you have, and everybody in the combat gets to roll a dice. And then you just decide who's got the highest number, they win. So like if you roll 3 dice and I roll 4 dice, and you get a 6 and I got 4 5s, even if your other dice don't matter, even if they were both 1s, you won that combat with that 6.
I see.
And so having a nice number of dice in the combat is important, but if you both roll 6s, then what you move is to fight value, who's got the highest fight value. Okay. And then that's like the tiebreaker.
And I would guess that this is simplified because in Lord of the Rings, I believe every model is essentially its own person. But you might still have like 40 or 50 models, like my army will. So, so you're still going to have to figure out a way of doing individual combats really fast, right?
Yeah, so you swing. We find you go from combat to combat fairly quickly. You go, right, you've got this guy with 3 attacks, I've got 3 spiders, so I get 6 dice now because 2 attacks each. He might be able to boost with, like Aragon can put in 1 might a point to draw the combat, and then his fight value will mean that he wins it. And then the person who wins the combat pushes everyone's back and then does a bunch of whacks on them to see if they can hurt them and put wounds in there. And then you quickly move on to the next combat. It's pretty quick.
Amazing. How did the game go? Did you feel like you got a good grasp of it by the end?
Yeah, I mean, we actually didn't finish to get to the final round, but we sort of looked at the table going that the spiders had like zerged. Like there was just too many bodies at the point. I don't know if that means that next time we play, Nathan will reduce his number of like hero characters and bring more undead but yeah, it seemed like lots of bodies helps win.
Okay, cool. And you were watching YouTube tutorials to sort of make this make sense? I
watched a lot of YouTube stuff. There's like lots of great content creators out there painting stuff, and you can put on the background while you're painting. And there's lots of people doing battle reports.
Yeah. I found it a bit hard to tell which version of the game I was watching in some of those.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to look at the date the video was put up. Is it the modern edition or thing? But I think most recent ones, this edition and the last edition, it's not that different. Mm-hmm. I think this one's just a tidier up version of everything. Bobbie,
the last version you played on this was Battle of Balin's Tomb. I don't even remember which one that is.
Oh, so that was a board game that Games Workshop did as like a limited edition a couple of years ago that I thought looked nice, so I bought it and then replaced half the minis in it because I was like, there's some of the plastic fellowships on the minis aren't the best, so I sort of some metal ones. Painted that all up and put in the Games Workshop Barnes Tomb terrain sprue. I painted that up as well, so had some like 3D terrain for it. I wish I had some more photos of it. I don't actually have any pictures to show.
We should have some. We played that.
Because we played it in Bugman's.
Did you?
Yeah, I just couldn't find the photos of it.
And then
it's
Gary,
a pretty
you
fun
were,
game. It's kind of a bit like it's not like the normal Lord of the Rings game. It's a bit more like Hero Quest in that you've got dice.
Oh, interesting.
With, like success with like swords and shields on for like successes and defenses and stuff like that. It definitely plays more like that than it does the Lord of the Rings game. But it does mean I do have a painted fellowship and a bunch of goblins. So that might come in handy. Yeah,
especially how flexible the army building is. And then the other thing we were going to mention here is that in the Lord of the Rings spirit, Gary, you were playing the duel the duel board game, right?
So basically, while I was doing lots of eBaying and that, I found this game, which is pretty recent. And it's basically like a sort of card game that you play, and then you've got the map of Middle-earth, and you're basically pushing, like I was playing a Sauron, you're pushing where your orcs are, and I'm trying to just cover Middle-earth and orcs. And then the win condition.
It's a duel, right?
Yeah, so it's like it's like Seven Wonders.
Seven Wonders. Yeah, I've played the Seven Wonders duel version.
Yeah, so it's very much like that. You've got like a board of cards that you both have access to. So you're watching at what the person picking up, and then you're looking at the win conditions. Like, is he trying to make allegiance with all the different races? Because that's one win condition. Another win condition is if there's like a little track, and the ring's trying to get to the Mount Doom, and it's being chased by a ring wraith. So if the ring wraith catches the ring, the game's over.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's been an interesting Lord of the Rings themed few weeks as we prep for this. I think we've all got an idea of what we're going to do, which is nice. We've handily are doing 2 good and 2 evil at least to start with, so that will balance us out quite nicely. And yeah, so I guess it's time for us to all reveal what we're going to start off building. Maybe a little bit of what we've been doing before, what the plan is. So in my list down here, I have started with Gary. Gary, what have you done and what are you going to do?
So I've got a warg army, which is Azog's Hunters, which is about 60-70% done now. It's all the troops are like skin colored. They need different their armor and their swords still painted, but everybody who's mounted is finished.
Okay.
And it's mostly cavalry. So yeah, I'm about 60-70% done with that army.
Yeah.
That was meant to be my first army. Oh, so this picture you've got up now is crowd cover. This is my first time using crowd cover, which is this amazing sort of product. You've got this sort of almost PVA glue. They say it's not PVA, but I think it is. It might have some. It's intellectual property PVA. I think it's got like maybe IPA in it or something to keep it a bit tackier for longer. I'm not sure.
Right.
They say it's not wood glue, but you know. It is very good. You put that stuff on top of the base, then you just sort of dunk it in like in the picture, slide it around, shake it off, and the results are really good and quick.
It's very Lord of the Ringsy, isn't it?
This one is, yeah. This is Pride of the Rivermark or something. I bought 4 or 5 different types to try. Yeah, this one's great.
But this isn't the one you're doing, and neither is the next thing because you've also got spiders.
Yeah, so then I did spiders as a quick joke because Nathan was switched to ghosts as his cheat army. Like, oh, we've got a game coming up in 2 weeks, and I've switched to ghosts. I'm done now. So I'd switched to spiders, which are I bought War Games Atlantic spiders, GW Spider Queen, and GW Shelob. And this is before I'd really properly gotten into what I can do with the books as well. So this is a legacy army.
Right, I see.
And I still can't use Shelob in it under current rules.
Because that's a different thing.
She doesn't hang out with spiders. She hangs out with orcs.
Yeah.
So it would have to be a friendly arrangement to go, I'm bringing my spider with my spiders. Are you okay with my...
Because this is a Mirkwood spider list, and Shelob obviously lives in
Kurathangal.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So again, this is more of that crowd cover basing. This time I used some wood one and something called Tales of Grimdark, which has got these little bones and skulls in it. So you just sort of put the glue everywhere, put it in the barky wood one, and then I put more glue on top of it, more grim dark, and then spider on top, and it was done. So
great. And it's not, but those skulls are pre-painted.
Pre-painted bones and skulls, and the little green bits are just mixed in with the wood and bark. So you get.
Yeah, I guess if you wanted to, you could wash it, but you don't really need to.
No, I mean, I've not done any. The only thing I've painted in that picture is the rock. The rock is a separate bark chip, which I had painted separately.
Right, brilliant. But neither of these are what you're actually doing, Gary.
No. So I've got ghost envy from playing Nathan. So for the Tale of Four gamers, I'm going to do the Shadows of Angmar. Which what list is that? So that is after the demise of the Witch King. There's his presence is still felt in Angmar, and there's dark beings there, and you've got Gulvahar. I'm not sure how he's pronounced. He's basically a big bat demon model. It looks great. And then you've got lots of ghosts, and the ghosts are all sort of still dominating the area, and any orcs that are hanging out with ghosts get terror as a army benefit. Okay, so is this is a different sort of ghost to what Nathan's using? This is not Army of the Dead ghost. This is Necromancer ghost. That's the box of stuff I've just bought from Games Workshop. I think the pricing on this is actually really good still. Like, you're getting 3 or 4 models for like 12, 15 quid mostly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Gulbadar's the big box. He's going to be the army leader. And then you've got the Shade, I think was a £15. The Barons come 2 to a box for 12, and the Spectres are 3 for 12. These are just ghosts that are in the Angmar region, and then you bring orc models as regular orcs, and the ghosts are like the captain. As long as the guys stay within 3 inches of the captain, they get terror.
Okay, so it's a slightly more varied list, and you can use some things you've already painted. But
sorry. So the question was, it's not the same ghost as Nathan's. No. Nathan's is the Army of the Dead. Yeah. And these are just mean ghosts.
Okay, these are just mean northern ghosts from Angmar.
They're just spiteful because they're dead. Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to be doing Angmar evil list. Necromancy ghosts, 1 person down. We have 1 evil player. Next, I am going on to Bobbie, who is going to counterbalance this with some a very Christmassy themed army, of course, because it's elves.
Yeah. I'm going to be doing Lothlorien elves. One of my favourite parts of the original trilogy was Helm's Deep, Helm's Deep, and Haldir's elves turning up and helping out Rohan. I just thought it was a very cool battle. So I'm going to do Defenders of Helm's Deep list, which is Lothlorien elves and Rohan bits. But I think I've got enough elves. Happen to find these in a box that I've had for probably at least a decade, if not longer, sat there. Some of them are secondhand, which is why they're painted already. So I'm going to get some stripper on those. And I think these are some of the nicest miniatures that were Games Workshop have ever produced. Such fine detail on them. Shame that there's kind of like limited poses. But yeah, I've got some guys with swords, some guys with bows, some different guys with bows. Quite a lot of the characters for the Lothlorien list. They've released a couple of extra characters through Forge World, which I'm going to have to pick up. I'm going to buy some of the new Rohan miniatures as well. I think they might be a little bit tall compared to the elves, but it'll be fine.
Brilliant. And you've already got 1 army back up anyway, because you've always got the stuff you did for Balin's Tomb, yeah? Yeah,
so I do have the whole fellowship painted, although, again, I don't seem to have taken a picture of them at any point. But I did take a picture of the goblins here and the troll that I painted, which I don't think is actually very, very many points. I think goblins are about 4 points each, so that it's not much of an army, despite there being quite a lot of them. I might look at buying some more at some point. I do kind of want to buy some Uruk-hai as well. The Isengard starter set looks like a actually pretty good deal. I know a lot of the miniatures in there are the older ones, which are getting a bit long in the tooth now. They're going to be
no, but I was looking at those battle swords.
20 years old.
Yeah, they are a really good deal. Yeah, it's like 50 quid for basically a whole army.
Essentially you're getting 2 boxes of troops, which is about 50 quid's worth of miniatures, and then you get a character as well. You get the Saruman Grima Wormtongue set in there as well. So yeah, it's not a bad savings. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with elves and Rohan to start with before I start 2 or 3 more armies. As is my normal style, I'll probably end up painting about 3 or 4 times as many miniatures as I actually need to for this.
Well, yeah. I think I'm going to be in that box as well. But yeah, brilliant. Okay, so far we have Gary, inspired by Nathan's army, to do spooky ghosts that you can fold some existing models into. Bobbie stripping her old metal models to make a Helm's Deep elf army. So sticking with the theme of good armies, Russ, you're probably doing the most painty, intense version of this. So you were saying that you were intending to do something else first. You were intending to do Shire, but what are you actually going to do?
Yeah, rather than the Shire, I did also consider just doing 9 Nazgul and just having 9 Nazgul riding around the place being intimidating. But I decided 9 models was too many. So I'm only going to have to paint a very small number of models this time. I'm going to go for... that might be obvious. It might not be. I don't know, actually. I'm going to go for hints. I'm going to go for a Fangorn list.
You're going to do trees?
I'm going to paint some trees.
Oh.
All sorts of pretty trees, yes.
Great.
So I've loved Lord of the Rings for basically ever. I think I first read it in like about 1989 or something. I reckon I've read it at least 20 times since then. That was a long time ago now. I've probably read it at least like once every 2 years for most of my life. I was watching Pointless once. Quick aside, please keep this in the edit. I was watching Pointless. I'm really proud of this, and I don't get to tell people who care. They had the final round of Pointless, and it was you had to name chapters from Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
And I sat there and I reeled off about 20 chapters in the 30 seconds they gave us. So there was like, went the White Rider, the Riders of Rohan, the Stairs of Cirith Ungol, the Black Gate opens, Shelob's Lair, listed loads of them. But my favourite chapter, a chapter when I first ever read this book, I still have a clear memory, as well as thinking, the Riders of Rohan, I wonder if the Black Riders are coming back from Rohan this time. And it turned out to be a totally different bunch of people. But I read this chapter titled Flotsam and Jetsam, and I thought, it's going to be a chapter about Sam, because, I was like 10 at the time and didn't really understand how language works. And I read that chapter, and it was all about Merry and Pippin, obviously, meet after they've smashed Isengard with all the Ents. So that's pretty much my favourite chapter in the book, and it's got lots of Ents in it. So I'm going to do Ents right now. And I'm actually rewatching the movies at the moment for this, rereading the book at the moment for this. The Ents have just rescued Merry and Pippin, as I was watching a couple of days ago. And so I'm excited to paint some trees. Yeah,
you've been doing some tree search.
I've been doing a lot of research. I'm going to paint a silver birch. I've planned how I'm going to sort of do the gnarly bits. I'm going to get a little bit of the Vallejo diorama fix and try and get the texture of it right, and do a rowan tree and a silver birch and an ash tree with sort of the patchiness of it, and beech. And I might, if I'm really ambitious, try and use some of the Vallejo putty and then comb it somehow to try and get the patterns of a chestnut tree. So I'm really excited to paint a bunch of trees, which seems really odd.
I wonder if you could do the chestnut tree texture with crackle paint.
Yeah,
I thought about that, but I don't know if I'd be able to tackle in the direction I want it to.
Yeah, getting the control on it might be difficult.
Yeah, so I feel like maybe if I can do it with some of the Vallejo basing sort of paste,
texture,
might be able to sort of do the lines in it just well enough to at least give that impression. I'll try it on bits of spare, because I bought my first Ent, and as I understand it, there's like 2 or 3 different like heads and different poses. So hopefully I'll have enough spare bits of Ent that I can practice a few things like that and try and make my plans for how I'm going to make my... Because I want all my Ents to look a little bit different. I want them to look like they belong together, but I don't want it to be a whole bunch of exactly the same tree.
Okay, there we are. So we've got 3 very different armies at the minute, and I'm no exception. I'm also going to go for a very different army. I also had a bit of a thing. So I've I was having this thought recently that I also, probably about the same time as you, Russ, read Lord of the Rings as a kid. I probably read it a fair few times over my life, and The Hobbit. And I realised it's been quite a while since I actually watched the movies, though. I watched the Hobbit movies recently, like last Christmas. I rewatched the Hobbit movies. And you know what?
There's no Hobbit movies.
I actually, on rewatch, I didn't mind them. I was like, they're all right. They're not terrible. I mean, they're not the same things, but I didn't mind them. So I watched those. But I haven't watched I realised the last time I watched the Lord of the Rings, all the movies, all the way through, was when I used to be a touring technician for like concerts for rock bands, and I can't remember who it was, but I remember doing we were doing a UK tour, and we had to we did a gig in Dublin, and the next gig was Brighton, and that means it's like you do an entire day traveling on the bus. The tour bus travels for a whole day, and I remember watching all 3 Lord of the Rings extended editions in like the lounge area of the tour bus, to show you exactly how rock and roll the bands I used to work with are. But yeah, I can't remember who it was, but yeah, that's the last time I think I sat down and watched all 3 like extended editions, because you had literally nothing to do but a day. But just,
if you're watching this and remember Ian and that journey, do please leave a comment below.
So I can't remember who it was, but that's probably the last time I saw them. So anyway, the last thing I'd seen was I was looking for like a fun thing to do. I'm going to be evil because it works out better this way. I've got a few things going on. I've got I'm moving house, I think, in the next month. So I wanted something that was not necessarily, that got me a feel of the game, like without being too complex, and was relatively straightforward to paint and quite fun. I wanted something with a little bit of silliness to it. And so I'm going to be, for the purposes of the next few months, I shall be, everybody, the Goblin King. You remind me of the babe.
What babe?
The babe with the power.
What power?
The power of voodoo.
Who?
You do.
You do? No, I forgot.
Oh, no.
Oh, we messed it up.
You messed it up at the last moment. There. That's right. I'm going to play the Goblin King. Unfortunately, I'm not going to play David Bowie's Goblin King. I'll be playing Barry Humphries' Goblin King. I'm going to play equally as silly a character, Barry Humphries. So I'm playing a Goblin Town army, which is really silly. The main thing here is I get to sing stupid Goblin King songs all the way through all the games, right? Like down, down, down in Goblin Town. Oh, hello, yeah. And I'm gonna, I might do some, I might mix it up. I might make a giant David Bowie to be a different sort of Goblin King. Who knows? But either way, I'm playing Goblin Town. Goblin Town has the major advantage of being all plastic and mostly just naked people. So if I can get down my color scheme for naked people, I'm okay, right? It's going to be relatively simple to paint as long as I can get the naked people done. I'm thinking of doing them in Skittles colors. I don't know if I'll paint them all flesh. I might paint them in like random bright colored goblins so that I know which squad's which.
Taste the rainbow.
Yeah, rainbow goblins. I might do those. The main thing about down in Goblin Town is there's no fucking horses. I hate painting horses. I was quite up for painting some. One of my options was to paint.
Why do you hate? Why do you
don't like painting horses? I hate it. And the problem with Lord of the Rings, right, is then you have to paint them on and off the horses. Oh, anyway. So I didn't want to do that. I did want to do something with critters. I might do that afterwards. My original idea was to do Iron Hills dwarves, but they're really expensive to do all the goats. I might see if I like the game first. Then I wanted to do Radagast on a bunny sled, but it's actually quite a difficult army to build again. I was tempted by Haradrim with elephants, but again, it's a lot of money to spend and a lot of I hate painting like lots of tiny strappy people. So I didn't want to. I was like, you know what's going to be much easier than this? A bunch of naked goblins and their big stupid leader. and it sounds like fun. So I've looked into the army. I can get, if I can lay my hands on a copy of the old the limited edition box set when the Hobbit came out, the Escape from Goblin Town set, that'll basically give you 500 points. And if I can't do that, it's basically 2 boxes to buy. It's a box of goblins and the box that contains all the characters for Goblin Town. So that's quite good. Also, I'm quite looking forward to doing the terrain again. I would like to use this as an opportunity to expand my fantasy terrain. If I get the original set, then it comes with this Goblin Town like platforms. It's wooden platforms. I might try and get a couple of sets of that, and then I could maybe make it into sort of dock for other sorts of games as well. So yeah, I'm that's what I'm going to go with to start with. I was tempted by loads of things. I was tempted by bunnies. I was tempted by dwarf goats. I was tempted by doing pirates at some point, but I'm not sure it's as fun. But yeah, I've settled on goblins, and it means that, one of us is doing a classic stupid goblin army, which I feel like you need in Lord of the Rings. It does mean that I'm going to paint about 40 models for this. But they're all painted the same, right? So, yeah.
I mean, they should be about a 3 colour maximum. It'll be like the skin colour, their rags, and whatever weapon they're carrying, right? Maybe their hair for a 4th colour, which might be the same as their rags or their weapon.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like a thinned contrast, little bit of a dry brush, and then just do the weapons. And and also I've got one of the things I do for some of my 40k trench armies is I already have built myself a set of molds to make board like wooden slat bases. So I've got all of that already because I built them for my old Krieg trench army.
Didn't you buy the Red Harvest Warcry box?
Oh, I might have done. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I think I have got that box.
So that's got wooden platforms, doesn't it?
It has, yeah.
I'm remembering it.
No, you're right. I think I've got that. I'll have a check, but I think I have that box. So I might dig that out and do like a big wooden table, which is probably going to be like 2 or 3 Lord of the Rings tables, but one great big 6x4. So yeah, I'm quite excited about all that. I'm going to be goblins. We have Shadow. Me and Gary will be ghosts and goblins, fighting against elves and trees. What we would do at this point is we would usually do community updates. Of course, we haven't started yet, so there is no updates. We'd also usually do the giveaway results, but we haven't started that yet either. So there's no giveaway results. That kind of brings us to the end. If you would like to be featured in community updates, the way it works is we run the submissions on Discord. The way you get access to the Discord is you get certain levels of the YouTube membership scheme or certain levels of Patreon. The £5 and above ones will get you access to the Discord. We deliberately keep it at small. And then paint along with us. If you've got some old Lord of the Rings sets somewhere that meaning to do, now's the time to do it. And we'll all build together. And then at this point, in every other video, we will go through what people have been doing. The other thing we'll do is the giveaway. So the details of that will be in the thing below. And whoever wins next time will get this fantabulous red gobbo winging their way to them around Christmas time.
We were going to talk about one thing amongst ourselves, but actually it's just occurred to me we should throw it out to other people. Which Hobbit they think each of us is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So the thing is, right, logically, as the owner of this channel, I would get to be Frodo, but I'm continually in the comments compared to Billy Boyd, right, who plays Pippin, especially since I shaved all my hair off. So I don't know which one that means I am.
I do like potatoes.
Yeah, well, okay, right. So that makes
is that all of the Hobbits, though?
So which one of the remaining 2 of you is Frodo?
I don't want to be Frodo. I want to be Gaffer Gamgee.
That's not an option. We can't just start picking random hobbits.
But he's got that level of I don't give a fuck about anyone else attitude that I respect.
What's your spirit hobbit, Bobbie?
I mean, Mary's just there for a good time. Let's be fair.
Yeah, fair.
He's not really paying that much attention to what's going on. He's trying to get some more beer.
Yeah. Well, why don't we just stick with that and make Nathan Frodo, since he's the one who got us into all this in the first place?
Yeah. Nathan is Frodo.
Right, well, there we go. Thank you for all your contributions. We will all see you next time on Tale of 4 Hobbits, which should come out just before Christmas. But until then, see you all later, guys.
Bye.
Hey, see ya. And if you'd like to follow this series, well, like and subscribe and you'll probably get notifications. And check below for details of the Patreon, the YouTube membership scheme, the merch store, and of course, the second channel. See ya!